centre. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging. And to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome to the Circuit Barcelona, Catalunya, where precision meets passion on a track carved into the soul of the Spanish motorsport. Since its debut in 1991, this 4.657 kilometer circuit has been more than a venue. It's a battleground of engineering and endurance, nestled just 20 kilometers from the vibrant streets of Barcelona. With 14 corners that blend sweeping arcs and technical hairpins, the circuit is a masterclass in balance. Turn 3 demands unwavering commitment, a high-speed left-hander that separates the brave from the brilliant. Turn 9, fast and blind, dares drivers to trust their instincts. And the newly re-profiled final sector, now free of its former chicane, although we are running that chicane layout tonight, unleashes the full throttle fury onto the pit straight. Welcome to week 4 of season 3 of Throttle Freaks GT3 action. I'm Rob Campbell, this is Racer Nexus. In the booth with me, as usual, Richard Swindells. Rich, 30% of the season behind us now. Week number 4, getting close to that ever so important midway mark of the season.
Yeah, this season's just flown by, Rob. It doesn't really seem real that we're in week 4 already, but here we are. It's going to be a really interesting week here at Catalunya. I love this track, Rob. My very first ever endurance race, we were talking about this before, was here, a 24-hour race in a GT4 car. Never driven the car, never driven the track, but I'm quite familiar with it now. And with that added addition of the last chicane, it's going to make for some really interesting exits and passing opportunities going into turn 1. It's all a matter of who gets through that chicane quicker, carry lots of speed down that main straightaway to make a big move into turn 1. I'm really excited for tonight's race.
Yeah, Catalunya, one of those tracks with, as you mentioned, such a long straightaway, and with the start-finish line really close to the start of that straightaway. So drivers are going to be on the loud pedal for a long length of time into turn 1. We could see some carnage here this evening. Hopefully it's a nice clean start, but you never know what could happen. But let's get the sponsors out of the way here to start. First off, Apex Sim Racing, on board to sponsor the channel for the season. You can find yourself a nice little 5% gift discount code in the description of the video. Use that with the referral link. Get yourself 5% off any wheels, wheelbases, button boxes, sim rigs, They even sell PCs as well, so you can get yourself completely set up from PC to sim racing on the go. That's Apex Sim Racing, and as well, we've got cameras on board here from Track Cams for Gourmets as well. Some nice Formula-esque shots of the Barcelona Formula 1 track, so thanks again for them too as well. And again, Rich, Throttle Freaks, week number 3. Week 4. The first 3 weeks have been very exciting. We've had a lot of battles up towards the front, and we'll get to our points championship here. But in the pro side, very, very competitive right now. Let's take a look at those points. Why don't you take us through that pro championship right now, actually?
Yeah, in the Pro Championship, Jim Feliz of Team Feliz, as we say here. We don't have the proper team names here, but Jim is sitting in first place with a decent margin, 163 points. Jack Hedgecoke's, no surprise, right up there near the front. He's in second with Joshua Spears, only 2 points behind. Then we have Max Datilli, just 2 points behind him, and David Bush III, he's about 19 points back. But David Bush III looks like he's fighting strong tonight.
Yeah, real tight in the second to fourth place side of the pro side. Over in Pro-Am, Josh Goen leading the way, 3 points up on Jay Steffi, and then a bit of a drop back to Brett Thurman, who, we've mentioned a couple times here, Rich, didn't start off the first couple races in great fashion in a couple instances, but managed to still get himself up to third place in points. So see if he can kind of round into form here as the season progresses. Tyler Graff in fourth, and Seb Gauthier, the driver with the best bug shot in the league, currently sitting in fifth in points.
Yeah, in the amateurs, we have Sean Provo with a 7-point lead right now over Kevin Bergquist. And then we have Dave Jensen in third, just 3 points back. A little 7 points further back, we've got Jacob Figner. And then we have Nicholas Carangis rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, still fairly close in the AM side too as well. And then lastly, we have our team championships where we'll see, a number of our drivers start to show their prowess in the team side. SimCity Racing, which I believe is Joshua Spears and Max Tillianov sitting up top of the points, 1 point ahead of SRTE Yellow, which is Jim Feliz and I believe Brett Thurman. So you can see why those two teams leading the way. And then Goen Racing in third place, that's Jack Hedgecoke and the Goen brothers. And then Riot Motorsports in fourth, and Lunatic Racing rounding out the top 5 here this evening.
Yeah, just a little correction. I think it's just one of the Goen brothers, and because the other one was a late addition, so it's the Goen brothers, one of the Goen brothers, and Chip Michaels, I believe, in Goen Racing this season, Rob.
I believe they made the switch. I saw something in the management side, so I'm not sure if they've officially switched it or not. So we'll have to see if it gets clarified for next week. But I believe it's been changed.
I'm nothing if not consistently wrong, folks.
Even a clock is right twice a day, Rich. So you have a chance. We're on board here with Josh Spears, the SimCity Racing driver. Currently that team in top spot in the championship points, battling with the SRTE Yellow team. Josh right now in fourth place. So it's a strong season so far for Joshua Spears. Let's see if he can keep it together. But it's 4 pro drivers leading the way right now in qualifying, Rich.
Yeah, it's not too surprising that we expect that the pros would be up there. And here we have Jim Feliz. Jim is our championship points leader at this stage. Jim having himself a nice, clean season to start the go. And no big surprise, Jim's always got pace. A couple cars ahead of him, we see David Bush III. David Bush III right now sitting in second place in qualifying thus far. David Bush III having himself a great effort, getting that Lambo working quite well around this Barcelona track.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him extracting the pace here tonight, Rich, in the Lambo, where we saw last week at Mexico on that front straight. He really struggled to keep up with the BMW. I believe it was Jay Steffi that was in front of him a couple times when we went to that battle on the front straight. It looked like the Lambo was really struggling for top end power. So interesting to see that the Lambo coming back strong this week. Must be really great in the twisty sections. I guess you'd call it the infield section here at Barcelona.
Yeah, probably that, and it probably handles those curbs on the last chicane pretty well to let him get a good exit going down to that straight, maybe make up a little bit on that lack of top end.
It's possible. On board here with one of our camera cars tonight, we have 2 drivers sharing their cams. James Hand is one of them. On board with him right now in 5th place, our top AM driver. He's also ahead of all of our Pro-Am drivers right now, so excellent qualifying effort right now by James Hamrich. We'll have to see if he can carry it to the end, but with just under 2 minutes to go, looking strong for a potential at least top 10 start here for James Ham.
Yeah, James doing quite well, and James has done quite well all season long, to be honest. Looks like the Ford Mustangs are quite strong here, Rob. No real surprise. They're known for their power, and like I said, that long straightaway certainly makes use of a lot of that power.
Yeah, I'm having a look here now that you mentioned it. It's like 4 of our top 7 cars right now are Ford. So yeah, the Ford really strong here. As you mentioned, the legs of the Ford really shining. But it looks like the Ferraris might be fairly competitive too, as well. As from 8th place back to 14th, we have pretty much all Ferraris except for a Porsche and Mercedes kind of breaking up that. But looks like it's going to be a battle between Ford versus Ferrari here at Catalunya.
Oh, wow, isn't that, we're doing a remake of the movie, I guess, in 2025 edition. Yeah, in practice, I was watching earlier as we follow along with Tyler Cato, another one of our onboards. Tyler, flashing some skin for us all here, folks. We may have to go PG-13, but in practice earlier when I was watching, it looked like the Ferraris were right up at the pointy end of the field, so nice to see them having some good qualifying efforts to follow along with Tyler in that beautiful-looking paint scheme, having himself a good effort thus far.
Yeah, I've said it all season. I'm a big fan of that I-75 paint scheme. The combination of the flat black and the chrome really makes it pop. Another car that's always bright on track. This guy right here, Tyler Graff, always a very, very easy car to pick out on the track. Changes his paint scheme up pretty much week in, week out. Looks like he's actually got a carton of milk on the side of that thing now, Rich, for the Coronation Pop hot milk advertisement that he's always promoting.
Yeah, milk with a straw. I'm an old guy. We didn't get those in school. It was soggy cardboard you were drinking it out of. But nice to see Tyler back with us again. We're going to pick it up on board here with Colin McKenzie. Colin sitting down in 33rd right now, but battling hard, looking to have a good last lap here. His official time is over in qualifying, but the drivers do get to finish their last lap. Once they cross the line now, though, their qualifying efforts are over.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see who just catches the line before that checkered flag comes out and get that extra lap going. Looks like Colin must have just caught it because he is coming into turn 7 right now, which is on the front half of the track, and we're approaching 40 seconds into the lap. These guys are doing about 1 minute 45 lap times here. Rich, you've ran this track, I think, a bunch of times in open wheel, and some of the open wheel races or leagues that you do. Well, how do you feel about it? Fan or not? Oh, as we see one of the SRT orange cars going into the barrier at the end of the runoff. I'm not sure who that was. Potentially might have been Jared Keane, actually, now that I look at it. But what are your thoughts on Barcelona as a whole, as a track?
I love it. I know it may not be a favorite of all, but like I said, it was my first ever endurance race. I did it in a GT4 car. I've raced here in F3s. I believe I've done Indy cars here. I've probably done GT3s way back. I think it's got a good mix of everything, Rob, so I'm a big fan.
Excellent. So we'll see McKenzie cross the line here, see if he's able to improve. Currently sitting in 34th place. So he's going to cross with a 146.3, unable to improve on his time, so he'll be starting a little further back in the field than probably he planned. But Nicholas Carangas, driver who we saw competitive at Mexico last week, Rich. And then we'll see if he can be competitive here again this week at Barcelona. Much different track than Mexico last week, but he's going to cross the line. It looks like he's going to be starting in around 28th place with a couple drivers still left on track. Looks like Greg Doucette finished up. And it looks like Andrew Trickett going to be our final driver as he was in the final corner. Looks like he's going to bail on that lap, come into the pits. So that's going to do it. We'll wait for timing and scoring to reset here. And we'll have a look at the grid. But let's take a look and see what the track temperature is. It's always a little bit of a contention here at Catalunya. Always seems to be one of those tracks that track temp is just super smoking hot all the time.
Well, it's Spain, and you got that Spanish influence. I mean, you just, feeling hot. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like we've got 71-degree air temp, 85-degree Fahrenheit. So that's actually rather pleasant, I think, for a race here in Catalunya. So
sure.
It'll be interesting. Our drivers going to have to be a little cautious for the tire wear here. There's a lot of fast sweeping right-hand corners that are really going to abuse the left-hand side tires on the outside. So it'll be interesting to see here, Rich, if one of these manufacturers are a little harder on their tires than the others. But qualifying over, let's take a look at how our grid is going to shape up here. Jim Fleet's taking
first
top
place
spot ahead of Nick Goen. David Bush III going to start in third, just ahead of Felix Feliz, Josh Spears, and James Hand. James, our top Pro-Am driver, nicely done by him, just outside of the top 5 in 6th place. Sean Provo, our second Am driver, going to start in 7th. Travis Newsom in 8th. Sully Sad in 9th. Jacob Fichtner in 10th. Javi Sierra and Brett Thurman going to round out our top 12.
Yeah, then we have Ross Sortino returning once again. Ian Cabana in 14th, followed by Dale Peterson 15th. Herbert Pineda is behind Dale. Then we have Kevin Berquist, followed by Greg Doucette in 18th. Andrew Trickett, Tyler Cato round out the top 20. Then we have Tyler Graff, followed by Dave Barkley. And Jason Park, followed by Seb Gauthier in 24th.
And we're going to find William Fenson in 25th, Dave Jensen in 26th, Pete Mejia in 27th, and Nicholas Carangis in 28th. David Morris, 29th, Chip Michaels in 30th, Jerry Keane and Jay Steffi in 31st and 32nd, respectively. Matthew Forte in 33rd, Colin McKenzie in 34th, Christopher Rhines in 35th, Justin Welsh in 36th place, and then quickly rounding out the field, Josh Goen in 37th. Darnell Williams going to start tail in the field, and Sean Mulholland is our admin. So it looks like 38 cars tonight, Rich.
It's a great field, and I'm noticing some surprises here, Rob. I'm seeing some people up near the front that I'm not used to seeing lately. But more importantly, I'm noticing some people near the back who we normally see up near the front. I'm wondering if this track's not agreeing, or people didn't have enough track time prep, or maybe they're just going for a last to first challenge.
Scanning over I know we talked about the various makes earlier on where Ford, Ferrari looked fairly competitive. It looks like Mercedes up towards the front too as well. So I'm thinking maybe it's a manufacturer thing, as I'm seeing a lot of the McLarens a little farther back in the pack, a lot of the Astons as well a little farther back in the pack. So I might just boil down to a car choice here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, we shall see. But we're on the short pace lap here, the thing that we love best about Throttle Freaks. Well, not the best, but we love it here in the broadcast booth. We're coming around, going in through turn 13. You're going to be entering the chicane, and they're going to be entering the final corner to get this race underway, Rob.
Yeah, we're running the, I guess, the traditional Grand Prix layout. I kind of wish we were running the historic layout where it was just the sweeping corner through the rear. I think that's a much more enjoyable lap or track layout versus this one here, especially in the GT machine. But we're getting ready for 45 minutes here, Rich. Week 4 underway. It looks like Felix Feliz getting a jump there, darted out to the right-hand side. I'm not sure if he actually went before the rest of the field, so it'll be interesting to see if that garners him a penalty. But 4 cars racing, excuse me, I'm tripping on my tongue here tonight, racing into turn 1. David Bush the third having to fight off Felix Feliz, but Jim Feliz getting out to a nice jump while the rest of the pack battles in behind.
Yeah, great start for the leaders. Jim Feliz, huge lead, and a great start. And it looks like everybody's through the first 1-2 complex. No big incidents, Rob. Nice, clean racing, and I was expecting something. There's a lot of runoff here. Looks like some of the drivers may have used it. No crashes, though. Jim Feliz out in front. Dave Bush III holding off everybody. They're going 2 by 2 in behind him. Wow, look at these drivers, Rob. A little close racing, but no big contact. Everybody racing fairly clean, it looks like, as we're coming up into this uphill left-hand section. You're going right, and you're going to use a bunch of curbing here if you want to maximize. Oh, getting real close. Nick Goen, though, holding it all together. A little tap in the back from him.
Yeah, Nick Goen and Josh Spears. Elbow is out there going around. Looks like Spears going to try and duck to the left-hand side here of Goen in the red Aston, but our driver's not wasting any time to get elbows out, throwing punches here, Rich. There might even be a couple kicks going on in the background here, a little UFC action, but things shaking up and down the field. Travis Newsom right now, big gainer, up 4 spots. That I-75 machine of Newsom himself up into 4th place. He's got Felix Feliz just up ahead of him. He's looking to try and take that spot away now.
Yeah, Travis Newsom coming around here. Final section, leading on to the very long straightaway here. Cars going kind of nose to tail, kind of in a little bit of a draft train right now at this stage. Really, any moves to be made. Oh, we come a little throw him a dummy there, but Felix Feliz and not biting at all.
Yeah, Feliz looks like he's concentrating more on trying to chase in David Busch III, but looks like something happened to Darnell Williams in the back end. I've seen him flagged a couple of times for a crash here. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to him in this silver-colored Mercedes. Heading into the chicane, the final chicane here. Oh, just got everything bottlenecked up there. Not sure which SRTE machine that was. He got into the back. It might have been Greg Doucette, but he's going to have a little bit of damage in the front. He promptly pulls into the pits.
Yeah, that was rather unfortunate. Everybody checked up, and he had a little too much momentum to get that car slowed down in time. We'll pick it back up here with Travis Newsom in the I-75 Motorsports machine. Travis with Felix Feliz all over the back of him now. So Travis making that move, but Nick Gowen in behind, following along, looking behind Felix Feliz, trying to get his move done. Looks like he's going to go around the outside, but the inside's the preferred line on this corner. It's a matter of can Felix make it stick and hold off? Yes, it looks like he's got Nick Gowen held off for now, but now Nick's going to have the inside coming around the final big sweeping corner. Nick Gowen on pace, gets the move done past Felix Feliz.
Yeah, going down 2 spots where he started, so he gets shuffled back a little bit early on, trying to regain those spots. But Travis Newsom up 5 positions. I don't know if somebody called and said his house is on fire or something. Rich is got to get through this race as soon as possible. He is on the move, up 5 spots, got himself final step on the podium right now. Let's head a little farther back in the field as we got some battles going on in behind. Pete Mejia, car change this week for Pete, back into the McLaren that we saw him in the first couple seasons of Throttle Freaks. Right now feeling some pressure from Colin McKenzie.
Yeah, Pete looking to have a little better results here with that car change. Hasn't been the season Pete has been hoping for. We haven't been able to speak to him in the booth, so hopefully this change helps him get there. So Pete, nice to see you back on board and driving hard and making some good moves.
Yeah, Pete trying to extract everything he can out of that McLaren, but it just looks like the McLaren's just not that happy here this evening at Barcelona, as he's got McKenzie looking left, looking right, trying to find a way around him. McCall McKenzie up 11 spots right now too as well. I think that might actually be our biggest mover of the day. He and Chip Michaels, actually the two of them tied. Chip Michaels up into 18th place. He's plus 12 positions as well.
Yeah, Chip Michaels doing a great job, and I think something may have happened to one of our in-car camera cars. Rob, I'm not sure if something may have happened to James Hand. I don't know if you've got a replay of that for us.
I was just having a look going through a bunch of them. Looks like Javi Sierra just went off. Looks like James Hand might have went off track here. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him after a promising qualifying here, Rich. Falling down to 18th place. Let's see how he got himself down there. Oh, looks like the back end of that Mustang just stepped around. Might have got up on the curb. Tires probably still a little cold as it takes about 2 or 3 laps to really get them up to temp. But luckily for him, keeps it off the wall. Didn't get hit by anybody. Just going to lose positions in time. So we've seen he has the pace. Hopefully he can try and find his way back up through the field.
Yeah, that was well done by James Hand to keep the damage to a minimum. But on board here with Chip Michaels, and well, we're going to go follow James Hand. Jim Michaels in behind him as they're coming down the straightaway. James Hand back on board, looking to get those positions back, and looking to hold off Chip Michaels. Chip Michaels wanting that position. Chip Michaels up 11 positions on the day, so he's charging hard. Yeah, but James Hand's wanting none of that.
Yeah, James, so somebody's throwing a ton of debris up on track, Rich. We'll see how that factors in a little bit. It's going to send some drivers a little wide, especially in that fast sweeping left-hander. That's not where you want to come into that corner and see a ton of debris on track. He's sliding out a little wide, but we got another battle here just up ahead of these guys. Ian Cabana trying to chase down Javi Sierra up ahead. He's got Jason Park, our top McLaren driver, right now in 16th place. So that's a 3-car battle for 14th place with Javi Sierra holding on to that position, but feeling a little bit of pressure from Cabana and Park right now. So they're trying to break away from Seb Gauthier in behind. We'll see if Gauthier can harness the power of that Mercedes and reel them back in. But the Ferraris we saw strong in qualifying, and Mercedes weren't too bad. Somewhere in the range of about P8 to P15. We saw a bunch of them, so we know it's got the pace here to battle at Barcelona. It's just a matter of Gauthier can extract it.
Yeah, well, one thing I mean, we see the different manufacturers here, Rob, but it's interesting. We've got Ford, we've got Lambo, we've got Ferrari, we've got BMW, we've got Merc, all in the top 10. So a good mixture overall. As we take a look at Seb Gauthier coming through the chicane section, going real deep. That's going to cost him a little bit of time here as he enters the straightaway. Oh, taking all kinds of curb. You want to take some curb, but I think Seb, as you can see by his little eye pointing out there, I think he got his brain wobbled a little bit there.
Yeah, we might have to send in for concussion protocol after that one, but that's going to drop him into the grasp of James Hand, Chip Michaels, and William Fenton. So no doubt they're licking their chops right now. James Hand on a recovery run, down 12 spots. But we've got a cheer in chat for Joshua Spears. Joshua Spears brought his cheerleaders here this evening. He's catching up to Sean Provo, our top AM driver right now, via unfortunately James Hand falling down the field. So Provo looking strong right now, but going to feel some pressure from Joshua Spears. Also has Jacob Fichtner and Brett Thurman in tow. That 4-car pack breaking away from Ross Sortino.
Yeah, we've got a few interesting close battles up and down the track. That's what you're going to get when you get 38 cars on the track. I think right now we've only got maybe 3 or 4 guys kind of out of contention, but the rest of the cars are charging hard. And we've got battles here for 3rd place between Travis Newsom and Nick Gowen. We got battles with Joshua Spears in 7th, battling along behind Sean Provo with Jacob Fichtner in there. That's what League Racing's all about, Rob. Big fields, battles all up and down the track, and Throttle Freaks puts on a good show week in, week out.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things, League Racing, Rich, where you get accustomed to racing the same drivers week in, week out. You kind of pick up on their tendencies where, you know, maybe that driver you're battling with might push a little harder than some other drivers. You kind of look for those opportunities, but right now, Sean Provo holding off the charge from Spears and Fichtner. See if he's able to continue to do so as the race goes on. So we head back. We're going to go
back here. We got.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rich.
Tyler Graff. Yeah, we got Tyler Graff in the Got Milk car. Tyler in 29th place, not where we're used to seeing him. He's following along behind Justin Welsh. Tyler looking to make some moves here. He's down 8 positions on the day, so he had some little issues earlier on, looking to make amends with about 36 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, here's a look at what happened to Graff earlier on. Oh, it looks like he was battling with, I'm not sure if that was Berkwas or Cabana, but just a little bit of, looked like potentially neck coat or just the slightest touch on the left rear corner. Set Graff around. That dropped him quite a ways back.
Yeah, that was rather unfortunate in that beautifully painted Porsche, but Tyler will be back, and Tyler will battle hard. We've talked to him quite a lot over the last couple of seasons here. We're going to go back here with Javi Sierra. Javi Sierra having himself a good battle. He's in 17th place. Javi's holding off right now. He's holding off James Hand and Chip Michaels, trying to catch back up to Seb Gauthier. Looks like we got a couple of Mercs stuck in the middle of this field here.
Yeah, we got Sierra in the Merc leading the Mustang of Hand, Porsche of Chip Michaels, and then the McLaren of William Fenton. So a couple different manufacturers battling it out here, Rich. Then we got on the bottom screen, we got Travis Newsom, who we saw move and shaking earlier on, got himself up into 3rd place, but hasn't been able to reel in David Bush III to this point. David Bush III sitting about 3 seconds up ahead of Newsom. That Lambo looking very comfortable here at home in Barcelona.
Yeah, I've got to admit, season 1 of Throttle Freaks, David Bush III was regularly up there near the front, but once the 2 series combined, we haven't seen him up there as much as we were hoping, and looks like he's got some great pace today. David Bush III, 2nd place. He's about 3.5 seconds behind Jim Feliz. Travis Newsom about 3 seconds behind him. As we take a look at James Hand going down the straightaway, James Hand is doing himself a good job here, trying to battle back. He's got Chip Michaels behind him and a slew of cars behind them, trying to catch back up to Javi Sierra up ahead.
Yeah, that's a heck of a pack. Actually, it goes, you see just up ahead, Ian Cabana, Jason Park, not too far up in the distance. So if these guys can continue to stay single file for the most part here, Rich, they might be able to reel them in. But just in behind, we're seeing, it looks like William Fenton trying to look in around. Chip Michaels unable to make that move. Fenton we haven't seen so far this season, popping in here now in week number 4. Actually, looks like there's a couple drivers that decided to finally join us here, Rich. In week number 4, Sully Sad, one of those names. I believe Ross Sortino we haven't seen to this point too as well, along with Fenton. So nice to see them joining us.
I think I just saw somebody in the background of that shot go way off track and crash. That may have been Andrew Trickett, but I'm not sure who it was. No, it wasn't Andrew, but it was somebody else in that shot. But we will have to take a look and see if, or maybe my eyes are deceiving me, Rob. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong before tonight, for that matter. Andrew doing a little bit of spin-a-rama move, as they say in hockey circles.
Yeah, let's see. Ross Sortino was also flagged at the same time. He's going to lose the back end of that Ferrari up over that kind of invisible hump in the grass there. They'll get straightened out, but looks like Colin McKenzie had an off track too as well at the same time. We might find which one of these cars you saw eventually here, Rich.
Yeah, it may have been Colin, because it was in the middle of this pack. That's what I saw. That's rather unfortunate for Colin. Colin was doing himself great work battling way up. I think he had qualified 34th. He was all the way up into the low 20s, I believe, but now he's basically right back where he started.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It looks like the Aston really delicate on the curbs. You have to kind of wait to really get into the throttle, and unfortunately it looks like just a hair too much throttle for McKenzie. Brought that back end around, but on board here with Sully Sad, he's got Dave Barkley just behind him. We saw Barkley join us first time last week. Qualified up towards the front. I think he was in either 4th or 5th, if I remember correctly, qualifying last week. Racing in Mexico, but had an unfortunate off on the first lap into the wall. Had to try to recover after that. So we'll see what he has here this week as far as pace. Right now, just outside the top 10 in 11th. But he's looking to try and get himself into the top 10 via taking that spot away from Sully Sad.
Yeah, he pulled what I call a Max Attili last week, but let's see if he can pull another Max Attili in his second week with Throttle Freaks. And looks like thus far having himself a successful effort. Dave Barkley in 11th place overall, battling hard with Sully Sad. We're going back on board. Up near the front though is Travis Newsom. Travis Newsom up 5 positions, still holding on to 3rd place. He's had Nick going, trying to get past him for the last several laps, but you know, Travis having none of that. Doing a great job holding off Nick Goenton. Yeah,
it's been interesting here. These 3 cars kind of got nose to tail here early on, Rich, once they moved around the incidents that we had early on. But they've been unable to, as I mentioned, catch David Bush III, who's really putting down some heaters in that Lambo up ahead. Actually, I'm having a look here. Looks like Feliz and Bush III, the only 2 drivers to dip into the 44-second lap time, with Jim Feliz, actually his best lap 144.25, and that's almost 3/4 of a second quicker than anybody else on track.
Yeah, we better send him for secondary tech inspection, Rob. That's some serious motoring by Jim Feliz. Well done, Jim. As Travis Newsom, we're coming in down through the infield section here. Travis going in. I love the section of the track, Rob. Nice tight corner. Now you're going uphill. Getting way out to the left. Just a light tap of the brakes as you're coming around to the right-hand side, using all of the curb and then some as we come down into the little horseshoe-shaped section. Turns at 10 here. It's about a 130-degree turn. Uphill, a little off camber, going into another left-hander. Then you're going into a big right-hand, almost carousel kind of thing, before you've got a short straightaway and then the little chicane.
130 degrees, eh, Rich? Did you get your protractor to figure that one out quickly on the fly?
The same one I use to measure my screen angle, Rob. You got it, baby. I'm full of mathematics and geometry tonight.
Well done. Let's go a little back here to check on this battle. We're still going on between Javi Sierra, James Hand, William Fenton, Nicholas Carangis, Chip Michaels, and I believe Jared Keane trying to get in on this battle too as well.
Yeah, Jared Keane, we haven't talked about much tonight. Jared having himself a good battle right now, though, with Chip Michaels. It's both drivers up 10 positions, Rob, so they're taking advantage of some mistakes from others, but more importantly, they're making passes, and those passes are moving them up the field as we watch Ian Cabana. Ian Cabana in that very familiar paint scheme for Crikey Esports. Him and Kevin Burkos sharing very similar, if not the same paint schemes. Always love seeing their Ferraris out here. And these drivers have been Throttle Freaks stalwarts since season 1. always putting on a good show. Ian in 15th place right now. Down one position, but still battling hard, looking for more.
Yeah, looks like we've got some drivers coming in for their pit service too as well, Rich, as William Fenson and Tyler Graff going to exit pit row. And we've got a couple other drivers in there getting some repairs done on their vehicles. So starting to see the field window open here, 17 minutes into the race. Some drivers going to try and opt for the undercut. We'll see how that works for them as the race goes on. But Nicholas Carangis, he's in a battle right now with Chip Michaels. A couple drivers who we mentioned earlier on. Chip Michaels currently in 23rd. Oh, Carangis off into the kitty litter. Nice save by him to keep that car under him. Looks like he's even going to try and defend off this position by Chip Michaels. I thought for sure when Carangis dropped those tires into the gravel, he was going to lose his spot to Michaels, but able to hold on to that spot. So well done. Great car control there by Nicholas Carangis.
Yeah, that was very well done. That's, whoa, and it looks like Ross Ortino off track again. Looks like he may have had a little bit of a crash and caused some damage there. Let's take a look on board and see if we can pick this up. Oh, the back end comes around. Big slide and, yeah, into the wall. That's not what Ross was looking for this evening in his return to week 4 of Throttle Freaks.
I wonder if we saw him off track earlier and kind of hop and skip over bit of an invisible hump there on the infield, Rich. I wonder if maybe he got a little bit of undercarriage damage that's kind of hampering his car right now, but he's come back on track right ahead of Herbert Pineda. Herbert in the Mercedes here this season. Used to seeing him in the McLaren. So interesting to see him switching over to the Mercedes. Doesn't look like it's really gelled with him all that much right now, as he's currently sitting in 23rd spot, down 7 spots from where he qualified. Try and take one away from Ross Sortino, who's been struggling as we just seen.
Yeah, Herbert Pineda's been with Throttle Freaks since the beginning as well. Always nice to see him here, but it'd be nice to see him a little further up the field so we get to talk to him again like we have once before. But beautifully painted car. He's looking all over the back of Ross Sortino, looking for that position. Ross having some issues, but Ross not willing to give that up just yet.
Yeah, both those cars look like they're showing a little bit of damage, little war wounds as this one goes on. But we got a battle not too far back behind them. So we go on board here with Greg Doucette, one of the Throttle Thursday drivers. He's got Dale Peterson just ahead of him, Christopher Rhines and Colin McKenzie just in behind. So 4-car battle here, Rich, for 26th place.
Throttle Thursday, eh? Isn't it Tuesday? I could be wrong, but nice to see Greg coming back into the fold here and racing with guys. We've known Greg for a number of years, or we've raced against Greg for a number of years. And nice to see him battling hard here in 28th with Dale Peterson, Christopher Rhines, and the whole big pack of cars in there. Looks like we've got 6 or 7 of them all battling within about a couple hundred feet of track space.
I think we're going to have to come up with a little bit of a built-in excuse here for any of our Canadian drivers this evening, Rich. Yesterday was a holiday up here, Thanksgiving, so they're probably carried a little extra weight full of turkey. It's going to be slowing them down a little bit. As we see McKenzie going door to door with Christopher Rhines. Rhines getting squirrely out of the final corner. He is to collect it up, but McKenzie trying to recover his loss from that spin earlier on. That's going to get him up into 28th place.
Yeah, that was quite the little, wobble, as you say. And I'm with you on the turkey. I didn't have turkey yesterday. I had ham. We were kind of out of town, and but man, oh man, I am moving a little slower today than usual. So I concur with your sentiments there.
Yeah, I had the turkey sleeps are a real thing, Rich. But on board here with Brett Thurman, he's got one of his SRTE sister team cars of Jacob Fichtner up ahead of him. Thurman going to make the move to the inside. Not going to get much dispute there from Fichtner. They're definitely not going to want to take each other out. They're also in different classes as far as the championship, with Thurman being in the Pro-Am side, Fichtner in the Am side, although our points are doled out by overall finishing position. But last thing you want to do is take out one of your fellow teammates.
Oh, that would be very bad and poor etiquette. You don't want to pull a McLaren here, or a Ferrari back in the day. But it looks like Brett Thurman is Sully Sad. We're going to follow on board here. Sully Sad sitting in 10th place here. Sully in behind Jacob Fichtner. He's going down the inside. I think just throwing him a dummy. He's going to tuck it back up to the racing line, open up that corner, follow him around, and try to make some moves on the infield. Really got to have a little better exit than the guy ahead of you if you want to make a move down to the end of the straightaway here.
Yeah, I saw some some chatter in chat. That's what I was trying to spit out there before I tripped on my tongue, Rich. That the Porsche drivers were saying the Porsche was a little difficult to get around here. These quick sweeping corners with the high track temps that they were getting in practice made it really difficult to keep the rear end of the Porsche behind it. Right now, Sully Saad is our top Porsche driver in 10th place, so nicely done by him. Let's see if he can continue that on as we're just at near about the halfway point of this race, Rich.
And the time has flown here as we watch the drivers. You can see how much curb they're having to use. And really, I mean, we're in a fixed setup series, so they can't make adjustments to the suspension. So however that car is set up, that's what they've got to deal with. And some of the cars are taking those curbs a little better than others, as we've seen, Rob. We're 22 and a half minutes, exactly halfway through this race, coming up into the last couple of corners, following along Sully Saad in a battle with, it looks like he's got himself a Jacob Fichtner up ahead. It's, you know, battles up and down the field. These guys are in 9th, 10th, 11th place, and good racing with the pit stop still to come.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what drivers choose to come in a little earlier when in the pit stop cycle around, try and take advantage of maybe getting into some clear air. Some of these drivers that really are embroiled in this battle, like this one we just picked up right now with Seb Gauthier out in front of Javi Sierra. Sierra has James Hand just right in tow too as well. So 3-car battle. Ian Cabana's gotten away from this pack a little bit. Last we checked in, Ian was kind of leading this pack. They were really putting some pressure on the back of him, but right now he's been able to pull away as Gauthier and Sierra battle down the front straight. Looks like Gauthier going defensive. Sierra gonna have to go the long way around. He want to make this pass stick. If he could have got alongside door to door there with Gauthier, he would have had the inside line for that quick little left-hander, but it's going to cycle back around where Gauthier on the inside through the fast sweeping turn number 3 has the advantage into turn 4 now.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to pass as we're seeing here tonight, but you know, it's all about corner exit, setting up the passes. As we've got we've got Jack Hedgecoats in chat. He's watching the race. I don't know where Jack is tonight, but he's obviously not racing. And another Go On, I guess, exists. So the Go On Racing bringing their own fan club tonight.
We've got Goins on top of Goins on top of Goins.
Yeah.
I believe Jack Hedgecoats made it mentioned in chat he had to study for an exam, I believe. So the university exams underway for Jack. So missing out on this one, but his Goin teammates strong right now. Nick Goin currently in 4th place. No Josh Goin this tonight, but Chip Michaels as well out there. And I try to remember where Chip was. He was battling up towards the front early on. Looks like he's fallen down to 30th place now, but we'll see if he can take and recoup, as he's one of the drivers that's come in already for his pit service.
Yeah, I believe Chip had himself a little bit of an incident. We kept that off camera out of respect for the Go On Racing team, and came in for a little early pit stop to try and regroup and get back out there.
I just noticed that mentioning maybe some drivers come in early to get some relief from the pressure in the battles they're in, and exactly that. Javi Sierra, Seb Gauthier come in for their service. Looks like Pete Mejia coming in too as well. So a few more of our drivers coming to get some service done here now, Rich. It's going to leave James Hand in some clear air out there. So see if he's able to capitalize on this. We know he's got the pace from qualifying up towards the front. Now with a little bit of clear track, if he can put down some hot laps, see if maybe he can use the overcut to get himself ahead of those drivers.
Yeah, James Hand trying to take full advantage of this open air, trying to make back those positions that he lost from that earlier spin. As we're going to go on a replay of Jared Keane coming in, it looks like through corner 1, corner 2, gets up on the curb, back end comes a little bit around, into the wall he goes. Jared Keane, a little bit of damage to the front of that car.
Yeah, that's the second Aston that we've seen kind of lose the back end up on the curb. So wonder if it's a bit of a theme to say that under the curb use. And we go back to James Ham, I keep saying Ham, as he hammers that curb there. Hand hammers the curb. They say that one about 10 times fast.
Yeah, well, ham, turkey, Thanksgiving, we're covering it all, Rob. Oh, excuse me. I think I just choked on some turkey there. Oh, we got Felix Feliz in 4th place, having himself a good battle. He's still falling along behind Travis Newsom. Travis Newsom having none of it. He's opened up the gap to about 0.6 of a second. Nick Goin hanging in there in behind a few tenths back. So this three-car train is spread out a little bit further than they were earlier, but they're all within range of each other, especially with that pit stop upcoming.
I hate to pile on the Astons. It looks like Colin McKenzie again, another one of these Astons, just losing the back end. So it seems to be a bit of a theme with the Astons here this evening. We'll have to keep an eye on it, see if it continues. But looks like Barcelona, Catalunya, not a track that is Aston friendly here this evening. Although Nick Gowen currently up in 5th place, but maybe if somebody in the Gowen Racing might get on the mic to him and let him know what we're seeing as far as the other Aston drivers struggling. But right now, Nick doing well. Although he's lost one spot to Felix Feliz. We'll see if he's able to recoup that up as he's going to straddle that curb versus where we saw James Hand last time heading through there. Really just hammering it and jumping it over with the Mustang.
Yeah, that was catching a little bit of air was Nick there, but Jim Feliz having himself a stellar effort. He's got almost a 9-second lead over David Bush III at this stage. So good on you, Jim. We're going to just follow on board here as he comes through the last little chicanes, turns 15, turn 16, the big sweeping right-hander leading onto the straightaway. I believe it's a downhill straightaway. Very short drive to the start-finish line, and then the long travel all the way downhill due to this sharp kind of a right-left combo. Getting by here, the lap traffic exiting the pits. Yeah,
Jim Feliz, as you say, comfortably out front, and he's not let off the gas at all, Rich. Last time by, fastest lap on the track, and again, his fastest lap after we on lap 17 is still the quickest, one of the quickest laps overall in the race, 144.5. The only driver to dip into the 44s last time by. Felix Feliz, the lap before, was the only other driver other than Jim Feliz to dip into the 44s. And I believe Felix had that via a little bit of draft off Travis Newsom. So Jim Feliz out front, comfortable lead. And right now, really, he's got the pedal all the way down, Rich. No lifting here for Jim Feliz.
Yeah, and he's definitely still pushing hard as you watch him get two wheels right over the curb, taking a little bit of air. Jim's like, hey, I'm in first, and it's checkers or wreckers here. We're going full tilt. It's pedal to the metal, and we're watching James Hand come out of the pits. James Hand right now looks like he's in 21st place and having himself a good pit stop. He's got to really push hard now, though, to try and make up some more positions.
Yeah, it looks like he was unable to utilize that clean track, clean air to get ahead of Javi Sierra and Seb Goche, who they pit lap before James. They actually were able to stay out ahead of him. 41.6 pit stop time for James Hand to a 39.8 for Javi Sierra and a 39.1 for Seb Goche. So we'll see how that works out. James Hand a little on the slower side as far as the overall pit stops right now. So maybe carrying a little extra fuel, wanting to make sure he gets to the end. But we'll keep an eye on that as it looks like our leaders all coming into the pits now, Rich.
The fuel window is... No, they're done. They got no choice. They're coming in. We got David Bush III coming in behind Jim Feliz, and we have Travis Newsom, Felix Feliz, everybody coming in all at once. It's just a gaggle of cars, and looks like they're man, oh man, it's getting jammed in there. It's who exits first. David Bush III, no surprise, coming out. He's in 2nd place. Jim Feliz second on the leaderboard, but Jason Park yet to pit.
It looks like Jason Park was able to save one more lap of fuel. Interesting, we saw Travis Newsom go up on the jack stand. Sometimes that's just a little bit of a glitch on iRacing's end, but I'm not sure if he would have taken tires. Maybe he just took the one side, the left sides, as we mentioned early on, that Barcelona, with a lot of those fast sweeping right-hand corners, can be real abusive on the left side tires, Rich. So it'll take a couple laps for him to get those back up to temps. So we'll have to see what kind of pace he has here coming out on his out lap. He may lose a spot or two to Nick Gowen and Felix Feliz, who he's battling with early on, but we'll see once those tires equalize if maybe it works out well for Travis.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to find out. If he starts dropping in the first lap, then we pretty much confirm that he took some tires. Unfortunately, there's no real way for us to tell. Jay Steffi, though, Jay Steffi in 7th place. Jay Steffi also stretching it out an extra lap. So Jay not having the pace this week that we've seen in weeks past, but that beautiful looking Riot Motorsports car is in 7th place. and conserving fuel as he's going to be coming in very shortly. But Travis Newsom getting a little defensive, going on the inside because Travis has got Nick going all over him behind him. The Aston of Nick Goen not seeming to have the issues that we've seen the other Astons. Nick doing a great job. Now he's got pressure applied to Travis. Travis getting the back end a little squirrely as they're coming in to the last couple of corners. They're going into this little chicane section. This will set them up for the long straightaway run, Rob. It's all a matter of exit. Let's see who's got the top end. Does Nick Goen get a good enough exit to get that draft and maybe get a move done down here?
Yeah, I'm watching Newsom's car looking really squirrely through this lap, so I'm fairly confident, assuming he took the left side tires there, Rich. So we'll see here now. That's going to be his first full out lap. Going defensive into turn one. Going to have the tire advantage here. See if Newsom able to hold him off. He needs about 3/4 of this lap to really get them up to temp to really be able to defend. Felix Feliz right back in this battle too as well. Actually, just looking in chat, looks like Tyler Cato out of this one. He's let us know that he did take 2 left side tires. So there we go. Travis Newsom on fresh left side tires. We'll see once they equalize here if he's able to hold on to that spot, or if maybe Nick Goen and Felix Feliz find a way around while he's still trying to get those tires back up to temperature.
Yeah, it was always good to have a little bit of a pit crew strategy in our back pocket. Thank you, Tyler. Unfortunate for Tyler, he's out right now, but Felix Feliz coming into this uphill left-right section. I love this section of the track, Rob. It took me a while to get it right when I first tried it out, but when you get this section right, oh, it feels so good. As Felix Feliz using all of the track, and all the drivers are, but great job by Travis Newsom going defensive, taking the inside line. We've got it going, Nick Goen from Goen Racing going around the outside, trying the over-under. Not going to happen. Travis Newsom doing a great job of defense.
Yeah, both these drivers too as well, we should mention, on teams that are currently up top of the team championship. So not only are they battling for points in the drivers championship, they're battling for points to keep their team as well, Rich, up top of the championship standing. So we'll see how this works out. Felix Feliz kind of just in the catbird seat right now, probably in the best spot. If something were to happen, come to blow between these two drivers, he could be there to pick up the pieces.
Well, yeah, and that's never a bad place to be. I've been there myself before, and that's how I've got most of my podiums, is by kind of sitting there letting the guys ahead, not finish so strong. So sometimes if you don't have the absolute pace, it's, just make sure you're there. You got to be there to get the job done, and he's sitting where he needs to be.
Yeah, you can't put the puzzle pieces together if you're not there to pick up the pieces, right, Rich? So
that's it.
That's the Richard Swindell's way. So various lines there through turn number 4, where we see Newsom holding it tight to the entrance to the corner, where Goen kind of opting for the late apex through there. Didn't really look like either driver really had an advantage. So interesting to see those 2 different lines through there. And Felix Feliz, again, just kind of taking a bit of both of those lines in behind. So 3 different manufacturers, 3 different cars, 3 different methods to get through there.
Yeah, I found that in my various races at this track, that corner is definitely, like you said, there are different lines, and they all seem to work reasonably well together. So it's a matter of where the car's pointed and how comfortable you are with what's going on in front and behind you. Travis Newsom, this line, this corner section, there's really only one line though. No moves being made, but Travis Newsom, looks like those tires are starting to come up to temp here and doing a good job, and putting a little bit of a gap on Nick Goen at this stage.
Yeah, once those tires equalized here, looks like the Ferrari starting to show its prowess. I wonder if maybe Goen just having to back out of it a little bit. As we mentioned, we've seen the Astons kind of struggle getting into the power out of the corners, where he's really got to nurse it out. And it looks like the Ferrari really able to get back into the power a little quicker than the Astons out of the corners. And Travis Newsom using that advantage right now to open up about 7/10 right now over Nick Goen in 4th place.
Yeah, while all that's going on, Jim Felice has opened up an 11-second lead over David Bush III, but David Bush III, he's got himself about a 6.5-second lead over this group of Travis Newsom, Nick Goen, and Felix Feliz. So top 2 drivers kind of walking away with this one. And nice to see by David Bush III and that beautiful looking Lambo. He's got that thing tamed tonight.
Yeah, again, representing the breast cancer awareness paint theme, he and Colin McKenzie. So Good on them for doing that. But we haven't talked about either one of those drivers too much, Rich. Jim Flees or David Bush III. That's just because they've been out front basically on a Tuesday night cruise in here at your local hamburger spot. Those two drivers basically just have it on cruise control and nobody really to worry about much. They haven't really even encountered much lap traffic.
No, it's they've got very strict blue flag rules here at Throttle Freaks. So even if they do get into the lap traffic, I'm not expecting any issues. But we're going to cover a driver we haven't covered much of tonight. We got Brett Thurman coming in through the corners at 10 and 11, 12 section. Brett Thurman in the bad Santa car, trying to make moves on Joshua Spears. Brett Thurman up 4 positions on the day, trying to pick off another one and trying to drop Joshua Spears in behind him.
Yeah, Brett came into this one 3rd in Pro-Am points. Currently our 2nd highest Pro-Am driver, so that will bode well for his championship run here, but putting a ton of pressure on Joshua Spears right now down the front straight. We'll see which car has the stronger legs. Look at the Mercedes with a much better top end speed than BMW. Brett Thurman able to really close that gap on Spears. See if he can make this move into turn 1. Looking to the inside, but if Spears can stay door to door, he'll have the advantage. Oh, they touch a little bit. Thurman goes off. No, he said how much Brett Thurman needed a clean race here this evening, and unfortunately the dragon of defeat has reared its ugly head again.
Oh, I feel for Brett. I kind of missed that. I was looking at the other cameras while that was going on, but Brett Thurman now down to 12th place where he started. Take a look at replay here with Nicholas Caranges. Nicholas coming out onto the straightaway, getting a little too hot under the throttle, and the back end coming around in that car.
Yeah, fortunate for him. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Brett Thurman here. Again, oof.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a racing incident there, I think, in the end, but unfortunate for Thurman. Although he is still our 3rd placed Pro-Am driver, so really only lost 1 position in the overall scheme of things as battling in class, but a number of positions on track in the overall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, but these things happen when you battle hard. He caught a little bit of a curb. He was going for a spot, but unfortunately for him, there was a car already there. We've got Javi Sierra sitting there in our in-car or our inset camera. Javi Sierra having himself a good race thus far. He's 15th place. He's down 4 positions, but having himself a good little battle. He's got Ian Cabana ahead of him, but he's holding off Seb Gauthier in behind him. And anytime you're holding off Seb, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, as Richard proclaims, Seb Gauthier with the best bug shot in the league. Let's take a look at that. Oh, we're not seeing it here tonight. Let's see if we can get that up there. Oh, I wonder if Seb's wife made him remove the mug shot there tonight, Rich.
Well, he was there for the qualifying results, so that's all that matters. So, and oh well, what can you do?
Let's head back up to this battle for 3rd place. Travis Newsom holding on to that spot, starting to open up a bit more of a gap now over Nick Goen. Looks like Goen falling back a little bit. I'm wondering if it looks like maybe that 2-tire move by Newsom might have been the correct call here, as we're getting down to the final 4.5 minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, well, that's all going on. We're going to pick it up on the other camera set here. We've got Pete Mejia. Pete Mejia in a battle with James Hand and William Fenson. So we got battles up and down the track. It doesn't matter whether you are in battling for 3rd place or you're battling for 17th, 18th, or 19th place. Good close battles. 41 minutes into this 45-minute race, Rob. Very exciting racing. I love Catalunya. Well, it makes some good close. Look at it going too wide in behind there. And Pete Mejia loving that action going on behind him.
Yeah, I think that was Jay Steffi and William Fenson going door to door through that corner. Looks like Steffi was able to take that position away from Fenson. Fenson, a little bit of damage on the front end of that McLaren. He's seen some more wounds out here as he hops over that curb. That McLaren, not all that happy. The Stockman machine a little disappointed, or I shouldn't say disappointed, a little angry right now, the front end of that McLaren.
Yeah, well, angry is a good way to describe it, I guess. Is we take a look at this gaggle of cars. We got 7, 8 cars, all kind of following nose to tail, but nobody able to get any moves done. Nice to have William Fenton back from Australia, making the trip all the way from Australia to Barcelona for tonight's race.
Yeah, if my math doesn't fail me here, Rich, it should be somewhere around coming up on 10 a.m. or so, and the land down under. So, little early morning league action for William Fenton here this evening. But back up front, Travis Newsom, that gap closing now. Nick Gowen putting the last late race charge here, trying to close that in, take that final step on the podium away from Newsom. We'll see if Newsom's able to defend, but right now Gowen pushing hard. Ooh, he gets a little squirrely coming out of turn number 12.
Yeah, and if Nick's going to close that gap and get on the podium here, he's going to have to do it soon, because we are on lap 20. They're finishing up lap 24. They're coming around for lap 25. Projected to be 26 laps here, so it's a timed race. That he's got 2 laps left now to get this move done, does Nick Gowen. Right now, the gap's a little too wide. He's going to have to close it up further if he wants to take the crown and get on the podium.
And take a look at laps last time by. Nick Gowen a little bit quicker than Travis Newsom by about 0.2, but he's going to need a little bit more to close that gap. But Ian Cabana, Javi Sierra battling in behind them. Sully Saw just leading this 3-car pack, but Sierra right up on the back of Ian Cabana. We'll see if Sierra sticks the nose out into turn 1. There it is. See if he's able to make that move stick again. You can sacrifice the inside into turn 1 if you can stay alongside for turn 2. Looks like Ian Cabana not going to be able to do it. He's going to back out, tuck in behind Sierra. We'll see now if Javi Sierra can reel in Sully Saad with. He's now on his second to last lap.
Ian Cabana sitting in 15th place. He's had a good battle. These Javi Sierra and this little group here has been battling hard basically for 43 minutes, Rob. So, and then we're going to go back a little further with Pete Mejia. Pete Mejia in the new car this evening. He had a big budget, got himself some new wheels, battling along with James Hand. He's going outside, and right in behind them, Mr. Seb Goche. Oh, sticking the nose into his Pete. Pete getting the little corner tucked in. He's trying to make a move down the inside here. This is going to be interesting, Rob.
Yeah, door to door they go. Oh, a little fender to fender contact there. James Hand able to hold on to that spot, but they are backing up in behind with Fenton, Steffi, Sortino, and Fenton touch. Around goes Sortino, around goes Fenton. So William Fenton's car already angry. He's going to be even more angry now. Papaya rules out the window here for William Fenton.
That's an ugly looking car now, Rob. Wow, but look at these guys still battling out, and wow, James Hand looks like he's took the worst of all of that, and Pete Mejia following in behind him is let's take a look and see what happened here.
Yeah, it looks like Hand went off track a little bit, went a little wide, and that allowed Mejia and Steffi to get back up front of him.
Yeah, a little too late on the brakes, unfortunately, trying to defend that position, trying to hold on to that position. But Jay Steffi now. Jay Steffi, no stranger to Throttle Freaks, no stranger to Racer Nexus broadcast booth. Jay Steffi going around the outside, he's up 14 positions on the day here, trying to make the move on Pete Mejia. There's room for 2 cars wide here, but not that much room, and unfortunately, it looks like they may have touched. Pete Mejia gathers it back up. No damage, but he's lost a few positions on that battle.
Yeah, a little contact there is going to get Pete Mejia sideways. Fortunate for him, but our leader, Jim Feliz, into the final chicane for the final time here, Rich. Bit of a master class here by Jim Feliz. Started on pole, led every lap. He's going to come around to take week 4 and put a real stamp on his championship contention here this evening. Congrats to Jim Feliz. Well done for him. David Bush III, again, excellent race by him too as well. Those Travis Newsom really closed up in the last couple laps, but David Bush III built himself up enough of a gap. He's going to comfortably come across the line here, take second spot. Newsom going to come home, final step on the podium. It's well done by him. But we still got a little battle going on a little farther back. So back to this battle between Sully Saad, Javi Sierra, and Ian Cabana as they're heading into the final sector here now.
Yeah, it's the final sector, and it's still a good battle. Sully Sad holding off Javi Sierra, Ian Cabana. They're running out of room. It looks like Sully Sad is going to take this home unless these guys can make some moves, and it looks like it's not going to happen. These drivers are going to finish in the order that they entered the sequence here.
Yeah, well done to them, taking it down to the line. Pete Mejia just ahead of Nicholas Carangis. A couple drivers had a little bit of a incident here in the closing sector of the race. Just behind them, Greg Doucette and Ross Sortino. Going to come across the line, finish up 22nd and 23rd. We still got a few drivers a little farther back. David Morse, another one of those McLarens, looking not so happy on the front end. He's got Dale Peterson in behind him. Looks like Dale Peterson might make that move around, but David Morse using up a little more curbs. Matthew Forte, another one of those Ashton drivers. We didn't see it on stream, but a number of issues for him too as well. So it looks like it was an unhappy day to be in an Aston unless you were named Nick Gowen.
Yeah, Nick Gowen seemed to have mastered the Aston, and no other drivers really were able to. But Dave Barkley did okay in it, I guess, tonight. But otherwise, we saw a few incidents with them taking curbs and then taking some wall.
Yeah, we'll see if they can regroup next week. And it looks like that's going to make it official as... no, sorry. It looks like we're just waiting for a couple more drivers to come across the line here, Rich. But looks like Greg Doucette and Nicholas Carangis potentially one more lap. Oh, no, there we go. They have just clicked over. Timing and scoring was just showing them still live for some reason. So let's take a look at our final results. Take it away, Rich.
Well, no surprise. Jim Feliz led it from start all the way to finish. 17-second lead over David Bush III, who has made a great effort holding off Travis Newsom. Travis Newsom finishing on the podium. Then we had Nick Gowen, followed by Felix Feliz. Felix Feliz, our top pro-am, and then Sean Provo, our top amateur, in 6th. Then we had Joshua Spears in 7th, followed by Jacob Fickner in 8th. Dave Barkley in 9th, followed by Kevin Berquist in 10th. Brett Thurman in 11th, followed by Jason Park. Then we had Sully Sad, Javi Sierra, Ian Cabana, Seb Gauthier, Jay Steffi, Chip Michaels, James Hand, and Pete Mejia.
Yeah, Pete Mejia rounding out the top 20. In 21st, Nicholas Carangis, Ross Sortino. In 22nd, Greg Doucette, Tyler Graff, Josh Gowen, Christopher Rhines, David Morse, Dale Peterson, Matthew Forte, and Justin Welsh round out your top 30. 31st goes to William Fenson, Colin McKenzie in 32nd, Jerry Keane, Herbert Pineda. Rounding out the cars, 1 lap down. Andrew Trickett, 2 laps down in 35th. Dave Jensen down 3 laps in 36th. Darnell Williams, Tyler Cato out early on, and Sean Mulholland was our admin. So that wraps it up here, Rich. I think that was a hell of a race. Catalunya can be
Loved it.
a little bit of a mixed bag sometimes, where you can get... as we mentioned, it's tough to pass. There's not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities, but I think we had a hell of a race there. But we got a couple drivers in chat, or in the interview room, right in the chat. Let's bring in our race winner, Jim Flees, to catch up with Richard Swindells.
What an effort. Congratulations, Jim. That was very impressive.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. I think the Mustang was definitely the car to have this week. It felt really, really good around here, and was just able to kind of capitalize on that, get into a good rhythm, and kind of check out at the start. So yeah, really, really pleased with that result today, and great to get another win.
We were noticing earlier in the race, your best lap was like 3/4 of a second better than anybody else's until they started taking advantage of some draft. You must have done a lot of work at Catalunya, or is this just a track you're really familiar with and comfortable with?
I think this was definitely a comfortable track for sure. And then, like I said, I think just the car track combination, Catalunya and the Mustang this season just seemed to go really well. I will say I did put in a pretty good effort there to try to set down a marker for the fast lap when I thought the tires would be at about the optimal temp. So I think that was able to stand up all race, but maybe not indicative of my true race pace if you're looking at just the fast lap.
Oh, that was awesome. But congratulations. Just an impressive performance, start to finish. Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight, Jim?
Yeah, I just want to say hello to my parents. I know they're watching at home. Appreciate their support. Thanks to you and Rob for putting on a great broadcast. And just thanks to everybody on Team SRT.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
It was our race winner, Jim Feliz, again securing himself top spot. Going to bode well for his championship contention. Let's bring in our second place driver, David Bush III. D. Bush, you and Jim Feliz really got out to a strong lead early on, just kind of put it on cruise control, although it looks like Newsom was starting to reel you in at the end. Were you having to save a little bit of fuel at the end?
I was just playing a little strategy. I saw how far Jim had gotten out after the pit stop, and I was hoping maybe he wasn't realizing that we potentially could go an extra lap if he was going fast enough. So I started, after the pit stop, I started to just save in case if we went the extra lap, but we didn't end up doing it.
Now, a vast difference here in the competitiveness of the Lambo versus Mexico last week. Is there anything in particular that you seem to have found a little more pace in the Lambo versus the Mexico last week?
I guess the only thing that I noticed right away was like the last section is really the strong suit for the Lambo. Anytime that you very quickly need to go from high speed to low speed back to high speed is where the Lambo evens up the BOP a little bit.
Well, congrats on the P2 finish. That's going to bode well for your championship points haul. You're in contention in the pro side for up into the top 2, 3, 4 position. So you're going to take that into next week at Indianapolis. That's going to take us to the halfway mark. How you feeling comfort level wise bringing the Lambo into, I guess, I don't know if you technically consider that a roval or not, but a different track than the last two Formula One circuits we've been to this week and last week.
Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to the rest of the season, and things are looking in the right direction so far. Before I go out of here, I just want to give a big shout out to my fiance and all the drivers. I'm sure have their significant others or other family members that put away. I know all the drivers had to put away hours throughout the week, and the support is appreciated.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, again, we'll thank David Bush's fiance too as well for letting him come race with us week in, week out. Best of luck next week, D. Bush. Hope to see you up towards the front again at Indianapolis.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care. That was our second overall place finisher, David Bush III. And looks like we have our top Pro-Am driver, Felix Feliz, in the chat here to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey.
Yes, congratulations. Great job tonight.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I think this may be one of the first times we've had you in here, if I'm not mistaken. Had a great race. How'd it go from your perspective?
First of all, the top 4 guys were just too quick. I was just holding up for my dear life. It was a good race. Like I said, I was just trying to keep up. And at first I was trying to save fuel, but that wasn't going to fly. I was just going to fall behind. So, stick with the top 4 guys and hopefully they take each other out, especially the guys in front of me.
Well, you had a good battle with Travis Newsom and Nick Gowan for the longest time. Made for a great broadcast. We appreciate your efforts there in the Mustang. Next week we're going off to Indianapolis. Have you got much experience there? How do you think you're going to do?
We'll see. Last time I ran there, I got taken out on the first lap, so I'm hoping to complete at least 1 lap.
Well, let's hope for a much better effort and results there. Maybe something a little more like what we saw tonight. Anybody like to thank or shout out tonight, Felix?
Yeah, my teammates, even though they're not around, I miss them. The SUT teams, Waldo and Buck. Hopefully they'll be back soon.
Well, we hope to see them back as well. Always a pleasure. Congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Felix.
All right, thank you guys. See you.
Thanks.
Hey guys, I can't hear you if you're talking to me.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Sean, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring in Sean Provo, our AM winner. Sean, you're able to take a top spot in AM. You're able to kind of keep the car clean, where we've seen a lot of other drivers really get involved in a lot of argy-bargy racing out there. Overall, how'd your race go from your seat?
It went well. A little bit spicy in the first couple of laps, and then fifth place kind of took off from me, and the person running in seventh behind me had a spin, and that kind of left me in a gap in the pack for the rest of the race. So pretty low key this week.
We noticed a trend in qualifying where it looked like the Mustangs were really strong. Did you put much practice in this week learning Catalunya, or is it just a track that really gelled with you here in the Mustang?
I do think it's a track that gels with me, but I did practice a lot for this week's race in a lot of different conditions. So it was a little hotter than I expected, but still the Mustang was able to hold on to the road and give me a good lap time.
So you came into this one in strong contention in the AM Championship. Next week, the halfway mark, we head to Indy. How are you feeling about potentially coming away with the win this season?
Well, that's the goal. I've got good competition with some of the other guys, and my teammate, Jacob. We're like the new McLaren drivers. We're both fighting for the win, but trying to make sure we keep it respectful and kosher. So, yeah, you know, you never know what's going to happen, but that's the goal.
Well, you guys are almost running papaya colors on your car, so even though you're not in McLaren's, we can kind of say papaya colors for the SRTE orange team. You might need to rename that team SRTE Papaya before the end of the season.
That's a great idea.
You got any shout-outs here, Sean, before we let you go?
Yeah, let me shout out to the SRT guys, Dave and Jim, for keeping us practicing and giving us the tips, and shout out to my wife and boys who are watching from the TV tonight.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks for them. Thank them for us for tuning in. We appreciate it. And best of luck next week, Sean, at Indianapolis.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all you do.
Take care. So that'll wrap it up here for interviews, Rich. We should probably take and mention, got wrapped up and everything. We didn't go over the schedule, but there you can see round 4, which is what we're in right now, Barcelona. That takes us up to the halfway point, which will kick off next week. Round number 5 will put the stamp on the first half of the season, Indianapolis Road. And then a couple great tracks still to come, Hockenheim, Sebring, down to Brazil for Interlagos, over to Japan for Suzuka. And then we've mentioned it a couple times before, it's going to be an absolute thrill fest with, we get 30 to 40 cars going up and down the mountain at Bathurst.
Yeah, definitely an international schedule this season, and it hasn't disappointed. So I'm really looking for. I like most of the tracks on this service or on this season, and really looking forward to it. But there we look at the winner, Jim Feliz, just cruising around as he did all night. Next week should be fun at Indy.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody has anything to offer Jim Feliz as far as the overall championship and the pro side of things. A couple drivers have been trying to, but unfortunately for them, Jim Feliz looking strong so far. He's going to come out of this one with an even further lead in the pro side of things. Well, next week, bring a new winner. Tune in to find out. Same time, same place. We'll catch you then. For Richard Swindells and myself, this has been Racers Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. We will catch you next time. Bye for now.
Good night.